Welcome back to High School Sports Extra, presented by Nicolet National Bank. The Seymour boys basketball team currently sits all alone in first place in the Bay Conference, and joining me now to talk all things Thunder Hoops is Hall of Fame head coach Jon Murphy. Jon, thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Ryan.
You're approaching 600 wins. You went into the Hall of Fame since the last time we had you on the program. What do these milestones mean to you? Because it means you've been around for a long time and you've accumulated a lot of wins.
Yeah, it means, it means I've been fortunate to be coaching for into my fourth decade here at one place, which is kind of rare, I think, today. But I've enjoyed it, and it hasn't been a chore in any way. And I've been able to coach a lot of kids for a lot of different years, and it's been a great community to live and raise a family and work and coach in, for sure.
And you said it, I mean, inside of 4 different decades. As someone with that much perspective, how has coaching kids changed now in 2019? How have you had to adjust throughout the years?
That's an interesting question. I don't know that kids are different. I think coaching's a little more difficult today. It seems that there's more people who have their hands on stuff. I think social media has made it a challenge for some people. Everybody has an opinion and a forum to share it. But I don't think kids are much different. And I enjoy the kids, and I enjoy the time in the gym with them. So for me, not a lot has changed.
Yeah, it's the good thing, right? And the bad. They have the most coverage they've ever had, and they have the most coverage they've ever had. So
Perfect,
when you're under that spotlight, there's good and bad that goes with that. Speaking of the spotlight, you had a big game last night on the road, taking on West Pier. Always a fun rivalry with the Phantoms, and the fans, they definitely show up for that one. The student section's always getting after each other. There wasn't a lot going on early on, but your son Riley was feeling it from downtown. What has it been like to coach one last son coming through here? And he had a team high 22 last night.
Yeah, Riley's had a really great season. I mean, he's really stepped up, and he's had a couple of years of varsity experience already, and he's elevated his game, and he's playing with a confidence level of one of the top players in the conference. And he and Trent Blake are definite leaders, and both of them have had phenomenal years.
Yeah, and you're going to see right here Steele and Blake finishing at the rim. Now, West Pier, maybe not having the kind of season that the Phantoms have been known for, but they were keeping it close throughout. What makes them a tough team? Because they were hanging with you guys throughout the night.
Well, athletically, I think they match up with everybody, and they're a big physical team, and they on a given night can beat anybody in our conference. And I don't know in the Bay if there's a whole lot of difference that separates, first and fifth or sixth. You got to bring it every night.
And the one thing that separated you guys last night was the three-point shooting. I think I counted 10 in the first half. I mean, when you got it going like that, does it just become contagious at some point?
Yeah, it kind of does. I think we started the game off a little slow, but we're one of those teams that you hang in there, and all of a sudden 3 or 4 in a row, and you're up, you got a 10-point lead. And we have 3 kids, there you see Brock Volkman off the bench stepping up, and our bench has developed. But when you have the ability to have multiple kids that hit that 3-point shot, you can extend the floor and open up huge gaps. And we have a lot of different weapons. But between Riley and Trent and Mason Dorn, we got 3 kids who are probably in the top 10 in Division II in three-point shooting.
And there's Dorn hitting one right before the halftime horn, and you guys win against the Phantoms to keep it rolling. Now, it's hard not to think of West Pier Seymour, the rivalry, and not think back to those games a couple of years ago. Some of the most fun games that I've been able to cover here in the Green Bay area. Sandy Cohen and Seymour against Cody Schwartz and West Pier. Incredible atmospheres, incredible performances. You often played 3 times a year. San Jose State, Cody Schwartz went. Of course, Sandy went to Marquette. They both transfer, and lo and behold, they end up on the same team with the Green Bay Phoenix. How cool is that story?
Yeah, I mean, those were great days, and it maybe really fed this rivalry that we have still today. But I mean, there was so much talent that had come through the Green Bay area at that time, and you see some kids in playing at D1 schools. But yeah, those were fantastic rivalries, and both schools had their moments, that's for sure.
And did you ever think you would see Sandy and Cody playing together, and what's that been like?
Yeah, I think both those 2 guys have grown together as close friends, and sometimes rivalry night in high school is different than people think, because these kids play AAU together. It's a rivalry for the fans, but most of these kids are friends. They've grown up playing together, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, AAU. So it's really neat that they get the chance to work their college career together.
And Sandy already being a senior now, which means, thinking of what's next. And, you have a lot of people wondering maybe pro basketball on the horizon for him.
Yeah, he's got some abilities that make him unique. So he has a chance. We're not sure what level, but, I had mentioned to you that we've been getting some background checks from some NBA personnel. He's had a lot of agent interest, and we're trying to work through all of that and try to get him in a good situation.
Exciting times, no doubt. And the big moment of the season so far came earlier this month when your Seymour squad snapped Xavier's 34-game Bay Conference winning streak with a 76-73 victory in OT. Now the Hawks, they've kind of ruled the roost since they came and joined the conference, 4 or 5 years ago. So how big of a win was that to show that, hey, we're still here and we can get back to the top?
Yeah, I think it was a big win for everybody in the Bay Conference, just to, give everybody else a chance here, and they've had such a good run of talent. I mean, they were so guard strong with the Ferrises and the Plowmans the past few years. We went into that game feeling that this is a toss-up, and it went right down to the wire. That was anybody's game, and, we made the last play.
And speaking of down to the wire, I mean, you've been battle-tested in the Bay Conference because you're talking about different teams, different styles. West Lapeer has the size, Xavier's up and down. Menasha, they score a lot of points. And so it was an overtime victory against the Blue Jays as well. You take video of that one. And like I said, a lot of things have been said about the Bay Conference, but there's not an easy night here. There's a lot of parity in this league.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids who could score in this league. Yeah. You look at the scores, and teams are scoring 70, 80, 90 points a game. And the top 4 or 5 teams, you're going to be in a lot of close games this year. You're going to have to find a way to make plays at the end.
Yeah, Menasha, I think they scored 94 and lost last night. So that gives you an idea of what the Bay Conference is all about. All right, he is head coach Jon Murphy of the Seymour Thunder. Jon, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks, Ryan.
Best luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back on High School Sports Extra, it's the Local 5 Top 5 Plays, Team of the Week, and more. So keep it here.